Hey guys, let's talk about healthy relationship boundaries. And yes, if you are seeing my face for the first time, my name is Ore. You're welcome to Journey with Ore. On this channel, we talk about Christian lifestyle, we talk about relationship, and we talk about faith. If you're yet to subscribe, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel and also make sure that you click on the notification button or bell so you get notified when I release new videos. Yes, let's go straight into today's video. What sort of boundaries should be set in our relationship? I have a couple of points here that I'll be sharing with us today. One I have is put God first. In your relationship, you want to make sure that God is the center of that relationship. This means that both you and your partner should know God for yourself. Like, no God for yourself. Your partner should not be convicted to serve God because of you. It should be convicted to serve God because they actually want to serve God, or because they actually want to serve God. I know most of the times I say I feel like I say it because I'm a she. But yes, your partner should be, whether he or she should be convicted because they actually know who God is and because they love Him, not because you are serving God, not because they want to date you, not because they feel like you are going to be a good spouse, you are going to be a responsible husband or a responsible wife, or they want to have a Christian wife or a believer as the mother of their children. No, that's not enough reason to serve God. They should serve God because they know Him, right? They should serve God because they love Him. They should serve God because they are convicted that He's God. They should serve God because He is God, right? So that way they'll be able to put God first. You guys will be able to put God in the center of your relationship. God would take the highest place in that relationship. Like, God will take the highest place in that relationship. So for instance, let's say I want to give an example so that it's a bit clear. For instance, let's say let's say you have a spiritual activity that you want to do, and let's say you have a Bible study you want to do. The time for Bible study is different from the time you have to catch up with your partner or with your boyfriend or with your fiance. Like, it's a different time. So putting God first will help you guys see why it is essential, right, that you should have your spiritual activity first. So that's God first, Bible study, prayer time first, without having to share that time with your partner. So that's the first boundary you should have in your relationship. So the second one I have here is never compromise your values and your belief for anyone else. This means that in your relationship, individually, separately, like, you guys have to have your values and your belief, and you need to be able to hold on to that value and to that belief. You should also know that you are not compromising that value and belief for anyone. And one thing about value and belief is it gives you that you have a conviction behind the value, you have a conviction behind the belief, you have a reason, which is why you should have a strong, you should be standing on a rock when it comes to your value and your belief, because you can get advice that are not like the godly advice, and you're able to use the scripture, to look at whether this value is against the will of God or whether this value is in line with the will of God. So you should know that you are not going to compromise your value for anyone else, even for the person you are in a relationship with. Even for the person you're in a relationship with, which is why you should have your own values. I don't want to overflog that issue. Another way you can build healthy boundaries in your relationship is by having mutual respect and consideration for the other person, meaning that you guys have like page with respecting your partner, on the same page with respecting yourself. You put that person's feelings into consideration. I like to be very clear. For instance, you are, let's say you are going out with the other gender, and this is something you would not accept if it was done by your partner, but you are doing it and you are not putting your partner's feelings into consideration. Just like anything he understands, like anything goes. Or you are probably doing something that most likely, like doing something that that you can't accept. You can't accept it. You don't want it to be done to you. As feeling, you need to be able to understand the person's feelings. You need to be able to understand your partner's feelings. You need to be able to put yourself in their shoes. Okay, if you are in a relationship or you are in a talking stage with someone and you don't put this person feelings into consideration, probably let's say this person is going through a tough time and you really do not care. You really do not care this person is going through tough time. You really do not care what's going on with this person's life, but you don't want to be treated that way. You probably want the person to give you You probably want the person giving you full attention and considering you, and the person to be there for you. But when it comes to the person, going through their own like trials and temptation or storms, you are not there. You don't really care. You're just like, you know what? Solve your problem. Solve your problem. It's wrong. That's not an healthy way to keep a relationship. Okay? We need to do better. Next boundary I'll be talking about, the next healthy boundary you can set before or while you're in a relationship, is still going to be tied to what I said earlier on the values. But this time around, it's making sure that nobody forces you or pressures you to do what you do not want to do, which is why you should have a strong belief and value. So do what you don't want to do, like in terms of probably sex, in terms of probably, anything you do not want to do. Boundaries are, one cannot build probably, I can't you can't build your boundaries around what is going on in your friend's relationship, how they set their boundaries, right? But having like a boundary in your own relationship, everyone knows what works for them. Some people, they are in their relationship, right, they're able to like, have peck on the cheek. Some other people, they do not do like peck on the cheek. Some other people, their partner is like, oh, you know what, I don't mind, I'm staying late with you at night and it's fine. Some other people, it does not work that way. So do not allow anyone pressure you into doing what you do not want to do. You have to set your boundaries yourself. Let's say, for instance, you got into this relationship without setting boundaries. You can start setting physical boundaries now. I'm talking physical boundaries. You can start setting physical boundaries. And I'll not come up here to tell you the physical boundaries you should set in a relationship. You know what works for you. You know what triggers you to fall into temptation, sexual temptation. And if you don't know, you can study. You probably just know. You can just build like a general, boundary to what you guys would not do in your relationship. And having a physical boundary is going to help you know when you're being pressurized or when you're being forced to do what you don't want to do. Imagine, let's say you go into a relationship and you have a boundary of okay, we're not going to be holding hands. Some people do not hold hands in their relationship, and it's not because they're trying to claim holier than thou. It's just because that's what works for them. They know how they can fall, right? So let's say you're going to a relationship and you've already mentioned, you've stayed here that you're not going to be holding hands in your relationship, and you go out and someone is telling you to start holding hands in your relationship. You know what works for you, so why not just stick to what works for you? Not let somebody pressurize you into doing that. Not let somebody talk you out of your boundaries. Do not allow somebody talk you out of your boundaries. Stick to your boundaries. Stick to what you guys have set together. And stick to what you guys have set together. And when you have these boundaries, make sure that your partner agrees. Like, make sure that you communicate these boundaries. It's not something you just do yourself. It's something you guys have to agree with. I say this all the time. I say when you are in a relationship with someone and it's only you that sees a problem with premarital sex, and your partner does not see a problem in it, you're going to struggle. But when you have both at that agreement, we're not going to defile the bed, right? We're just going to leave it pure till marriage, and you guys have that agreement together. It's going to be very easy for you guys to stick to that, and then you are able to build friends. I like to see boundaries as putting friends around your relationship that helps to keep it. Some people do not have boundaries, some people do, but boundaries is a boundary is what will keep you when you are probably falling, when you're probably about to fall, and you just remember, oh, we said this, we're not going to go further than this. Oh, we said we're not going to go further than probably just handshake, or probably just hugging, probably just a peck on the cheek or a forehead kiss, or probably just we're not going. I really stated that we're not going to stay the night together. Like, boundaries help you, put you in check, like check and balance system for those that the government. So boundary puts you in a check and balance system, and you cannot, like I said earlier, you cannot set your boundary around what you see in another relationship. You have to set your boundary around what works for you, around what you think is right spiritually. Okay, around what you think is right spiritually for you. That you know that is clearly out of the scripture, and your partner does not agree with that, you already know that there's something to check in that relationship, right? So let's move on to the next point. Next way you can have an healthy relationship is to be completely open and honest with each other to help to build trust. This is going to help to build trust. You can be in the same place, you can be wherever you are in the future with this person. The person, what's going on in your life, what you want to work on, what you're dealing with, what you're struggling with. I like to say be accountable. It's not a big deal for you to go out and tell your partner, I'm going out, I'm back, just to be trust. Like, oh, your partner already knows. Even when you guys are not in the same place, she already knows where you are. He already knows where you are. He knows where you're going to. He knows like at least a bit of your, schedule. Just be open. Don't start saying, oh, I'm in a relationship and my partner should not know this. It really does not make sense. It's to say that you're in a relationship, but you don't want to be accountable. You don't want to be accountable to someone. You don't want somebody to start checking your step. It's not like the person is checking your step. It's just you saying, okay, this is what is going on in my life. Just be open. I know most times like I find it very difficult sometimes to see that you're in the relationship with someone and you cannot be completely open to that person. You are going to damage the relationship. You're going to damage a relationship. I'm not saying going to a relationship with someone or starting out a relationship, right? And you're already telling this person everything about, graphic details about what happened in your past. Not that, but as you gradually like that relationship, right? And you see this person, you begin to reveal things about yourself. Sometimes, yes, they might not accept you for who you are, but you already know that this person is not meant for you. If the person is having issues with it, but just just come out plain. This is who I am. This is where I'm from. There's no need to lie. There's no need to say I have 3 mansions when you don't even have one. Like there is no point. Just make sure that you are open, you are transparent. There's no lie. This person can visit you like without informing you, and this person will actually see that this is who you are. It's really very painful to see. Sometimes I've read and I've seen things, honestly, and yes, some people they're deceived to actually even be married to whosoever they are married with now, because like they were just to everything they knew about this person was a lie, and the time they found out was probably when they already said I do. And it's crazy because it's happening. So you need to be transparent. I don't have a job. I have a job. I'm working this. We are 5, we are 100 in our family. We have this, we have that. Just be transparent. Someone asks you what's your genotype, you to also take out this time when you guys are about to get married. Go and do this test to yourself and see the results yourself. And you say you are AA, and meanwhile, like, just be transparent. If this person is actually interested in you, they will stay. And if it's the person is not interested in you, they would go. And it's not do or die affair. It's not a do or die affair. I tell people that you don't have just one soulmate. God did not create you and say, oh, you have one soulmate. Like if you don't marry this person, that's the end of it. Just be open, just be clear. This is what's going on with me. This is what I go through. This is what I have. And this is the after you guys have been. Like it can be whenever. This is just to be trust. This is just for the person, for you to say A and the person believes that it's actually A. This is for you to just say good morning. The person knows that we're actually in the morning. The person is not having to go outside to check if it's morning or if it's evening. These are ways to build trust. These are ways to build trust by being transparent. And trust is built over time. It's built over time. You tell this person, oh, it's morning. The person's like, oh, let me check. It's actually morning. The person goes out. You tell this money person, oh, I don't have money. The person actually knows that you don't have money. You tell this person, oh, I have money. The person knows that you have money. That's how you build trust. That's how you build trust, by being transparent and by being open. Okay, about 2 other points before I end this YouTube video. And the next point I'll be talking about to build a healthy relationship is to establish healthy conflict resolution. Very important. Really very important, because you guys are gonna have conflicts. You guys not grow up together. You grow up from different backgrounds. You have different understanding of things. They're not trained by the same parents. You don't have the same background. You don't have the same training. You didn't go to the same school. If you even went to the same school, you have different traits. You have different characters. So it's important that you have healthy conflict resolution. You don't start shouting and yelling and abusing and cursing your partner. I don't even expect that any one of us to be cursing their partner, right? But like, you don't start shouting, breaking things. There are ways to solve conflicts. There are ways you guys can solve conflicts. There are ways you can talk things through. You don't have one disagreement and then you're like, it's over. It's like it's over. You're going to say it's over and carry your load and leave marriage eventually when you guys get married. No, did you realize that you guys are probably saying the same thing? No, you realize that you guys are probably saying the same thing, but you can imagine talking on top of yourself, shouting, yelling. When one person can just talk and the other person can keep quiet, you can always, say, I'll talk to you later. Mhm. I'll talk to you later. Can we talk later? Because by the time it's later, your anger is down. Okay. You guys can also set boundaries around how we resolve conflicts. Do we through the next day? Can we so like do we talk it through the next day? Should we always resolve our conflicts before going to bed? Who talks first? Who listens first? When someone is talking, who keeps quiet? Like, just have healthy conflict resolution. It's going to help you, because with conflict, right, I see conflict as what helps build people more. It depends on how you resolve that conflict, because you already understand, oh, this guy does not like this lady does not like this, next time I'm not going to do this created issue the last time, I don't want to have issue again around this, and this was how she saw it. You begin to see from this person's lens. Now you're not just seeing from your own lens, you're seeing the reason behind the conflict. And that's only when you keep quiet to listen. You don't always want to, yell and shouting. Like, for me, someone shouts at me, you've triggered me. Like, why are you shouting? You don't shout at them, you're going to kill their morale. So why are you shouting at anybody? Why are you cursing anybody? It's a disagreement. You guys can talk. You're adults. You settle these things well. Okay, so have healthy conflict resolution. You know what healthy conflict resolution is for you and what works for you. The last point I'll be talking about is make sure that you pray for your partner. Don't wait till you are married. You're in a relationship, pray. You are this person is your fiance, pray. When you get married, you guys can pray together too as well. But make sure that you pray, you guys pray together. There's something about praying together. It builds that spiritual intimacy, like you guys are connected, sort of thing. So like, you can receive signals about this person can receive signals about you, because you guys are praying together. So if, in fact, even if you don't pray together, right, but I believe you should pray together. Like, even if you don't pray together all the time, pray for this person, pray for them. When you think about it, don't just be selfish. If it's someone you want to have a future with, when you pray for them too, because you're going to be in that person's future and you don't want to be in a very wrong future. You don't want to be in a bad future. So you have to trash whatever issue it is that you want to trash now. Mention the person's name, pray for this person, ask them questions, pray. It's not just only lovey-dovey conversation that we have. You're going to have praying sections as well. So make sure that you pray for who you are in a relationship with. Okay, yeah, officially come to the end of today's video, and I hope that this was helpful to someone out there. Please remember to subscribe. Remember to give this video a thumbs up, meaning to like this video, obviously, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.